Hey y'all, welcome to our second live stream version of your first year of drum lessons. I have a crazy configuration set up, so I'm not even 100% sure that I'm streaming right now. I think I am, maybe I'm live. I'm doing stuff with my desktop screen, so I can't even see my YouTube screen to monitor, and it's over there, so I'm not going to check. So let's just jump in crazy pants. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You'll have to leave a comment that I'll see later. Anyway, today we're going to do drum set stuff. We are going to explore just one pattern, but in my experience, this pattern has, it's funny, you know, everything, when you're learning something, there's always some people who pick things up super quick, and then there's some people who, you know, wicked struggle, and then there's the great middle, right, where most people pick things up. This lesson really seems to be the word I want, a crusher of souls. So last week we did all those cool, the clave patterns with our foot ostinato. We're gonna use that same ostinato, and we're gonna do a pattern that is from this book. I've referenced Dick DiCenso a couple times. What could I say about Dick DiCenso? It's highly possible you don't know the name Dick DiCenso, which is a real shame. If you grew up in the Boston area, you totally know who Dick DiCenso is, and you may well have heard of his son, Dave DiCenso, who is awesome. But Dick opened the store where I now teach in 1982, right? And it's a region of Massachusetts called the South Shore. It's so south of Boston. And if you are a drummer and grew up especially in the South Shore of Massachusetts, you totally know who Dick was. Anyway, he was really important to me, kind of like my drum dad. You don't need to know this, but like, and that, I didn't really have like a dad figure in my life. So having a dad figure of any kind was really pretty powerful. And then for the last few years of his life, my teaching studio was next to his. So anyway, mentor. So we're gonna do some patterns from his book. If you have the book, we'll be on page 82. It's probably unlikely that you have the book, so I'm also gonna make the examples that we're gonna do available down below as a PDF, because that's what I do. Kind of an interesting way I've formatted the lesson today. We're going to start with, I'm going to demonstrate the pattern for you, and then we're going to break it down, and then at the bottom, we're going to kind of reverse the process. So let me just play you what today is going to be about. A new thing that's going to happen in these lessons that you haven't seen before is I'm going to have to reach over here and mute my lav mic so your all ears don't get blown out when I drum, but I used to edit that out. I'm also going to put this on screen, I think. Let me see if I figured that part out. Let's see. While we do this, I will, where's the transition button? Oh, are you having fun watching me figure stuff out on the fly? There. There we go. Haha. Okay, so this line up the top is what we're going to start with. And this is a jazz rock samba kind of vibe. And here's how it sounds real quick all together. and back to me. Lovely. Hey, look at that. I am so professional. So what we're going to do is break that down. And the way that I learned this, and I struggled with mightily, was I learned just the hand pattern, okay, which goes 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And you can do that. And on the printout, which again is down below as a PDF, that's written as number 2. Okay, you can do that. You could totally do that, and then try and power your way putting that with the foot pattern. The foot pattern is just the one we were doing last week: bass and hi-hat 1 as 16th notes, though 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. And with this hand pattern on top of it. What I've found over the years is that it's much easier to for students to learn this if we do one beat at a time, and then we're going to put beats 1 and 2 together. And you can put beats 2 and 3 together and beats 4 and 1 together, but for this pattern, I think we'll be okay if we just do 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, and then try and put it all together. If this still isn't broken down enough for you, you can totally do that. You can totally take, I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to it, but when we get to numbers 11 through 14, we're going to be doing 2 beats at a time, and then we're going to be going to the full exercise. And if that isn't enough, right, that you're feeling like, oh no, I need more. I need more help getting the pattern all together. There's more we can do, right? Remember, the thing I always love telling students, right? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time, right? So anytime you're struggling with anything, just break it down into smaller pieces. You could learn the hardest song in the world, like right now, 1 note at a time. It might take you a long time before you could like play it up to speed, but you could totally learn it, right? And so it's all about cutting stuff up. I apologize if you hear like rumbles during our lessons today. They decided to tear down like 10 trees outside my house today. So anyway, let's talk about number 3. So number 3, the way we're gonna do these, we're gonna do just a hand pattern for each beat, and then with the foot pattern. And in number 3, I've got 1 and okay, so my right hand plays on 1, and then both hands on the and then my left hand on the And the way I chose to write these is just as a repeating measure with the 1 beat pattern repeated 4 times. Okay, so I'm going to give you an overhead view too, so you can see, and so you can also see me talking to you. Hi. And so let's try just number 3. I'm going to do that even a little bit slower, just so you can see physically what's going on, right? I've got that 1 hand and then together and then left hand, right? So my right hand is just playing 8th notes on that first beat, and then my left hand is playing and a little slower even than I just did it. And now let's try it. Let's go pretty fast, right? So now we're going to put that with the foot pattern. But you see what I'm saying? That pattern is, I could teach someone that in their very first lesson ever, right? So this pattern is very, very daunting when you like look at the whole thing and you think, oh my God, how am I going to do that? One of the reasons we're doing this as one pattern for today's whole lesson is because I want to really pull apart, well, wait, how do we tackle more difficult patterns? Okay, so number 4 is just that same hand pattern, now with the 1 and a 2 foot pattern. And that sounds like this. Slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how that's going to work for the whole page, okay? The next pattern, we've got an 8th note and then a 16th and then an 8th, which remember that rhythm is 1 E and A. So for us now it's 2 E, because it falls on the second beat. Now I've got the first note is right hand by itself, and then the next 2 notes are both hands. So 2 E and A. Right? 2 E and let me play that for you nice and slow. And a little bit faster. Sometimes when they're just one beat, they almost get a little artificial doing them as a loop. But it's really helpful to work on the independence this way. Now let's try that with the foot pattern. This is number 6, and that goes like this. Faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. So an important fact about that one, in my experience for students, B2 is the most difficult part of this pattern. On B2, so number 5 and 6, your left hand is just playing the E's and the A. So once you get into doing it as a loop for number 5, your left hand is just playing E, E, right? So it's going to feel like your left hand is playing like, you know, eighth notes on the offbeat 16th notes, if that's helpful. And then in number 7, your left hand is doing the same thing, because in number 7, we're just playing alternating 16th notes. 3, E, and right? So right, left, right, left. I'll play this for you, but it's super simple, right? Right, so piece of cake. So now we just have to put that with the foot pattern. I'll do that slow and then again a little bit faster. Okay, so we're 3/4 of the way there, right? So the next one, we've got a little help. Beat 4 is 4 E and 4 E and okay? Beat 4 is almost the same as beat 1, just with an extra eighth note with the hi-hat, with the bell. So if beat 1 was 1 E and right? So right and then a space on the E and then together left, I'm just going to play the E. So 1 E together left, right, right, together left, right? So 1 was right space together left, 4 is right, right, together left. By now you should have a hang of how these work. So hopefully this one will be the easiest out of all 4. Let me play this for you slowly and then a little faster. Okay, so number 9, like I said when we were starting, number 10, Number 10 is going to be essentially number 3 and number 5 put together, right? So now I've got beat 1 and beat 2 together. 1 and 2, E and right? Just as a repeating pattern, so we can get the transition between beat 1 and beat 2. And remember, like I said at the beginning, if this isn't enough, right, working on each of these transitions, if you feel more comfortable, you can do a loop with beat 2 and 3 together, and then a loop with beat 4 and beat 1, right? So we worked on each beat separately. Now the thing that we have left to do before we can put the whole thing together is work on the glue, right, that holds all the beats together, right? So number, what did I just say? 11. I'll play the hand part for you first, just so you can hear it. So this is beats 1 and 2 together. And now we're going to add in the foot pattern. Okay, one of the hardest parts of editing these videos has been cutting out the cymbals ringing and cutting back to my vocal mic. So if you're hearing a lot of cymbal ringing, that's because we're live and I can't be doing that. Okay, so now number 13, we're going to play beat 3 and beat 4. Same kind of idea. I'm just going to play 3E and a 4E and a 3E and a 4E and a 3E and a 4E and a 3E and a 4E and a, right? I'll play that by itself first, and then I'll play it with the foot pattern, slow and fast. Something that can be really helpful when you're working on independence patterns is, so what we're doing is doing each beat independently, but I'm also, and I'm thinking of this because I was really hearing that bell pattern, right? Ding, 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 ding. If you work on each line of the hand pattern kind of by itself too, just so you can hear, all right, so wait, what's the bell doing? What's the snare doing? It can help, at the end, when we're playing the whole thing and we're trying to balance it out and make sure that the bell isn't too loud and the snare isn't too loud and neither of the feet are like too loud or too soft, right? Okay, so let's go on to number 14, which is that 3E and a 4E and a with the foot pattern. Okay, so now we have all 4 beats. And again, if you need to do beats 2 and 3 together and beats 4 and 1 together to get the transition between 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, that's totally cool, right? And you can just follow the same format as number 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 for, you know, the second and third beat and the fourth and first beat. This is usually the progression that I take students through. If they're having trouble, we'll do that 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, but this is usually enough glue to get the whole dealie together, right? Okay, so we are back at the beginning. So now I'm going to play just that hand pattern for you one more time so you can hear the hands separately, the whole thing, the 4 beats. And now back at the full pattern. I'm going to do this at 3 different speeds. The tempo that I've been doing that as the faster tempo is honestly pretty, even that is pretty mellow for where this normally gets played, right? This is a really quick pattern. Most of the time, doesn't have to be, but I usually think of it as being pretty fast. So this is the bottom line of your handout, remember, down below in the doobly-doo. So number 16. And it's often played, you know, this style of jazz rock samba. So Dick wrote this book in the 70s, and the term jazz rock applied to music, it doesn't really exist as a genre anymore. Nowadays you have stuff like, you know, fusion, or instrumental rock or progressive rock or stuff like that. But jazz rock, I really love that as a term. It feels like where my soul lives. Anyway, yeah, like I say, this style of beat can often be even faster than what I just demonstrated for you. It's all about being, pretty up tempo. If I was gonna record something like this, I would probably use a different sounding snare. The snare's a little fat and chunky, and I might use a cymbal with a slightly different bell to really be able to hear that articulation of the bell. One of the things I love about the cymbal is that the bell isn't crazy obnoxious, but for this style of thing, a crazy obnoxious bell sometimes is a little more helpful because you can like just tap it and the whole cymbal kind of resonates, right? Anywho, it's weird. So yeah, hey, welcome to my second live stream lesson, my drum set live stream. So your first year of drum lessons series is going to move to a live stream format for a whole host of reasons. One, it's going to make it so that I don't have to edit an hour of video, which takes a shockingly long amount of time. I'm shocked anyway how long it takes to edit those lessons down. So by doing them as live streams, that actually ironically will give me more time to prepare the actual lesson itself, because I will spend less time editing, which is yay. So it's good for all of us because I'll get to play more instead of sit at the computer editing, and you will hopefully get better lessons and better demonstrations because I will have actually worked on the things I'm teaching you a little bit. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate comments to the live stream. I've been threatening for a long time, but this weekend, so let's say by Monday at the latest, my Patreon page is going to be active, and one of the first perks for patrons will be these lessons will be a week ahead, and so patrons will see the live stream live if they want, or they'll be available as as videos on YouTube after. What does YouTube call that? Like the DVR feature. So yeah, if you're not a patron, nothing's going to change. You probably won't notice too much of a difference. If you want to support me, pretty much every tier of patron will get access to the early live feeds, at least for the your first year of drum lessons. I think that's going to wrap us up. I don't know if y'all noticed, but let me give you that. So I got my new TRX cymbals, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to be doing some videos talking about the different models and what I'm looking for in cymbals. I'm kind of cymbal crazy. Everyone that I've ever been in a relationship with hates me talking about cymbals. My husband is particularly grumpy about it. But he's very patient. But the reason I say that is just when I talk to you about cymbals, it's someone that's been obsessed with cymbals for a very long time, and so I'd like to think I offer a certain insight and perspective, and my tastes seem a little bit different than most people, so I think that gives me a little bit different thing to say about cymbals. But anyways, we'll talk. There'll be some TRX cymbal videos. There's also going to be some drum covers starting. She said, see, if I say it to you all, then it has to happen, right? Because otherwise I'd be lying. Okay, so Patreon, early videos, drum covers, gear videos. Oh yeah, I still have some snare drum videos in the can, which will get edited at some point, and you'll see those. Oh, let me give you the other camera. So that's this one. No, this one. Oh, you can't really see it. So this is the 7x14 Ludwig limited edition Avodire snare that came out last year for the 110th anniversary of Ludwig. And I think I'm in love. I think I found a new snare drum. I know I said that about the 8x14 brass, raw brass, which I really love that snare too. But this one, I think I really like a wooden snare as my main snare drum. And I know there's so many videos on YouTube that are like, snare drums all sound the same. So whatever, maybe it's all psychosomatic. It's all the placebo effect. That's fine. I don't care. It's very pretty. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Definitely print out this lesson. Work on these as individual patterns. Next time we're going to do some more patterns like this. And if you've worked on the individual beats, the next lesson is going to be a piece of cake. And if you haven't, the next lesson is going to be really super challenging. Okay. Like I say, this came close to breaking me when I was a teenager. So if this feels really hard, don't stress, right? And remember, even though these lessons are weekly, they're kind of meant ostensibly just to be in order, right? So if it takes you a couple weeks to learn one lesson and you fall behind the series, don't worry about that at all, right? Even going to this, live format, whatever, who cares? These lessons are designed to go in a progression, but there is no real timeline for this, right? It's been very interesting for me to create lessons kind of for a generic student. I think I'm finally getting the hang of it, after 35 years of doing only one-on-one lessons with like an occasional, I helped a friend's drumline kind of thing, mostly one-on-one, where, I'm looking at you and I'm diagnosing, you need this, right? And so writing an exercise or picking a song or a snare solo or whatever based on where that student is at the moment. These lessons are not that. And I finally feel like I'm getting my feet under me for that. Speaking of which, if you would like to do private lessons, I'm doing Zoom lessons and I'm even getting pretty good at those, I think. So feel free to message me here, or you can email me at penny@pennylarson.net, or you can DM me at Facebook or Instagram at pennylarsondrums. And with that, I'm going to go. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're practicing. Practice this a lot. Get comfortable with this before you go on to the next lesson. I promise the next lesson is going to seem, you're just going to hit a wall with the next lesson if you can't do this one. Because the next lesson, we're not going to spend as much time breaking down all the different beats. We're just going to be like, hey, here's a pattern, here's a pattern, here's a pattern. Okay? So it'd be really funny if this didn't live stream, since I can't see my feed, but I have faith. Yeah, so have a great weekend, and I will see you maybe as early as Monday with something surprising, although I think really a week from Monday is when the surprising thing is going to start. We'll see. All right, have a good weekend, you guys. I love you all very much. Take care.